Going live.
It's got to be approved yet, though.
Yeah, it's got to be approved. But all right, we are
That's good.
live.
Woohoo!
Oh, it looks like we have people on already. So yeah, we'll just give it a couple of seconds to start. If you are watching us, feel free to join in on the chat as we go. Just to say as well, we will be recording this for the podcast. So at one point, I'm gonna have to do the proper introduction and stuff. But we'll get into that. I will show you the cards on the screen. Can I share it to you guys? Probably not. We've got Aslan's watching. Hello, Aslan. Aslan, is the levels okay? You can hear everyone talking, all right?
I've got
Hello.
mine. It seems all right.
Howdy, Sergio.
Hello.
So yeah, chat. Let us know that the volume's all right, and then we'll probably just get we'll get cracking. So yeah, chat. We will be treating it like our podcast because we will record it for the podcast sites as well. And I'll try and have the cards up on the screen, and we'll keep track. All right. So hello and welcome to Chat Sith Get Banged, the Team Calamity Final Fantasy podcast. I'm your host Tom Hall, and today I'm joined by Team Calamity's Mitch Lander and Peter Sherratt.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. And also we've got our special guest as usual because it's our Legend review show. I say as usual, we went on the last one actually, but it's Michael MacMillan from the YYT.
Hello.
Hello. So yeah, welcome back. So it's been a long time since we've done a podcast. We missed pretty much all of Opus 11, but you know, the hype's back. We're going to start going again for Opus 12, and we always start our each Opus off with a Legend review. So that is what our focus of today is going to be. We use a rating stream in here. So what we do is we rate the cards from S tier to C tier, but just to make things interesting. You can't just pick everything as S tier. So we have a ranking for 2 S tiers, then there's 4 A tiers, 4 B tiers, and 4 C tiers. So that's the way we rank it. If you want to sort of like play along as we go, obviously keep track of yourself. I'll keep track of our picks as well as we go. But yeah, as we're rating cards, feel free to post your opinions in the chat, and we'll talk about them as well. First time we've done this live, but we'll see how it goes. I'm grateful for everyone who's listening in live, so thanks for that. If you're listening on demand on the thing, you're welcome to, and anyone on the podcast, obviously you won't be able to see anything, but thanks for listening. Do we want to quickly talk about Opus 11 before we start? I mean, Michael and Peter, I know you sort of took time out, so it's not been a great Opus for you.
I didn't really play much. I played a couple of weeks online with you guys. I don't think I really played much. Michael, I think, has played more.
It had one hype card being like Heroic Realm, like that inspired a good couple of like interesting deck styles. Kadaj was also 10.5, but more defined by Opus 11, and that kind of defined the Opus as well as did the BFA Martian Ritz. So, it was a set full of plug and play and Rampair. So,
And Mitch,
I'm hoping Opus 12 is going to give us something a bit more interesting there.
Yeah, it was, as Michael said, it was the Realm was the highlight for me. So
yeah, I mean, it was quite exciting when Opus 11 started, but it's been long. I think we're all still a bit sick of it. One Wingslayer says Legends have mostly leveled down a bit since old ages, but we'll see. So yeah, Opus 11, farewell. It's going to be one that's going to be sort of long forgotten.
Swept under the rug.
No one will want to talk about this. But we have lots of new cards. The hype is up. I've noticed that there's a buzz now, so everyone is ready for this new Opus, which is cool. There's lots of new content creators popping up as well, which is always good. So it looks like the game is healthy and ready to hopefully get back on track, even though we can't really do it. So we'll start with our Legend reviews. As I said, we'll go through each cards and we'll do the standard elements first, and then we'll do the multi-elements last. What we'll do, each one of the panel will lead on a card so we don't go on forever, and then we can all chip in with our ratings. So first up is traditionally fire on the list, so we'll go with fire. I will put them on the screen if it loads. So it's Tenzin. Who
What
wants
was
to
the
take
fire one? Oh,
Tenzin?
Tenzin.
Well, we won't do
God.
Peter then. So Michael, do you want to start with Tenzin? Why am I
Yeah,
loading?
I can do. So Tencent has like some really fantastic text, and it's like so obviously like it's guaranteed to search you like one card, sort of take you out one card if you've got the deck built for it. For the possibility of more, which is obviously really good, and it has a good when it enters the big zone, it gives you stuff back. That's really really good. But I've not rated it fantastically high. I've rated it B tier. Just because even though it's not got a single line of bad text, it's just not super interesting. So even though I know it's going to be good, and I know Samurais will be sick, even if there's only a couple of them that I think warrant play right now. But the more Samurais get printed, the better it's going to get. But I just think that it's compared to the other legends we've got, it's a bit dull.
Mitch.
Yeah. I've gone for C tier. The thing is, I like the Samurais. I tried them at the beginning of Opus 11. It's just they're not anything special, and because they're not anything special, this card isn't anything special. Like, I would rather that Tenzin, when he leaves the field, even play a job samurai of 3 cost or less. I don't think it's strong enough to carry the samurais up. So as I said, I've put it in C just because I think there are better cards in this set.
Peter, any advances on a B or a C?
I've gone for C. I agree with Mike. I think it's got some incredible lines of text there. But yeah, I don't think it's as good as it. I found it quite hard doing this actually, and I'm still actually finishing my review right this second. So yeah, I put it in C.
Quickly change it from
leave
A.
it as that.
So
It was an S tier, obviously.
Yes, I've actually gone for B as well on Tenzin. I've gone more down Michael's. I think it's good. The Samurai package in Fire is pretty good. So I think you can get away with running this without, when you did like Marsh Ritz, you had to take out quite a big chunk of your deck to put it in. But with the Samurais, you can just splash them in and it's, a good value card. So I'm giving it a B. So I think it's good. I think you can always play it in Fire if you want to. Get the thing. So I'm going B. Okay. So Tenzin, 2 Bs and 2 Cs. Anything on the chat for Tenzin? No rating for Tenzin. They couldn't even bother to rate it.
No, I think it's a delay, isn't there?
I thought you, Mitchell, would rate it higher because you actually played Samurais for a bit.
I did, and that's why I've rated it C. I just think it's like because the samurais seem to be all fire, it seems to just force it down one on fire, and then fire's better with other elements. So, I said I just don't see it being useful because all it's ever going to get you is a fire card.
There's a lot of C's in the chat. Yeah, samurai not strong enough.
Yeah. There's some samurai to see play, but
someone says B because it generates advantage. Yeah, sort of thing we were saying. It's fair enough. Okay, let's look at Wind. I have a feeling where this is going to go. So Ash, the Wind legend. Mitch, you lead with Ash.
Are we not going to do the Emperor first?
No, I'm going Wind because it's whatever I pick on my pictures. I've not got any order. I had to download all the pictures. They're not on the official sites yet. So.
Okay, right, time to panic then.
So Ash, we're going Ash. So Mitch, lead on Ash.
All right, so Ash, I've gone B. I think it's a good card. It's strong just to slap down as a 2-drop, and as Michael said with Tenzin, I think this has got great lines of text. You draw cards and everything like that. It's going to be very good in Wind Ice. I don't know if Wind Ice is going to be a good deck though, and that's why I've rated it as just a B.
Michael?
And have I died?
Silence.
Everyone's stunned. I wrote it as
even Michael's on a delay. What do you think, Michael, of Ash?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I've rated it slightly higher than B. I've rated it A, so I don't think it's quite S tier. But I think the potential of a card like this, so it's untargetable, which naturally like is good. Like Opus 3 Ranger saw play for much longer than it should have, just because it wasn't able to be targeted, just because the power of playing a forward to kill something is too great. There's more of those every set. So being untargetable is already great, even if summons and such exist and board clears. But on top of that, I know you said Icewind. It's probably going to be good in Icewind, and also don't know the power of that deck. But Wind decks we already know the power of are probably going to want this and benefit from it. Like YRP already, that casts about 2 to 4 like things a turn, right? So or at least during big turns. Like you got your Mione Tidus Pain plays. Imagine you had a Ash there as well, and you just draw an extra card at the end of turn. You're probably going to mill it faster, but you're probably going to deal 7 damage faster there. On top of that, it's a really consistent way to give Wind Earth draw power. So the 1-drop Earth forward that's a 2000 when an auto ability triggers and you draw 2, that's starting to see play in Earthwind lately because it's so desperate for draw power just to stay relevant, because it's nowhere near as high value as like Rampair as much anymore. But Ash helps in that because it means it can be like a slower Rampair that draws better, has more untargetables and such like that, and it doesn't have any name clash like it does in YRP and stuff. So I think it's going to be fairly decent actually.
So what are you going for? Did you say B?
Yeah, sorry, A.
Oh, A. Okay. Peter, what are you saying so far?
Yeah, I'm an A actually for Ash. A for
Ash.
That Ash. Nah. I'm a big advocate for untargetable forwards. I used to play Canny Senna, Ranger, cards like that. So yeah, I just for a 2-drop that can buff itself with 6 characters. So you have 5 backups, include itself. It's 6. Very easy to do, and I agree with everything what Michael just said. A.
The only thing I have a problem with in Windwater is it better than the 4-drop?
That's a good question, and it probably requires testing. I think it's worthwhile, but it's worthwhile testing. It's not like this is the 4-drop so obviously better than the
The reason I think the 4-drop's better, well, at least some of it is better, is the draw discard, because YRP runs so many named backups. The discard's actually good.
Yeah.
Whereas this one will just draw you, and it could draw you another Una, and you've got a Una, so it's a bit like...
Yeah, that's definitely true, and the sifting there is definitely beneficial. I think this actually weirdly help with sifting as well, though, because you're more encouraged to cast more on a turn, which probably is a bit of a catch-22, but you're rewarded for doing that nowadays through this Ash. You don't actually mind having lots of the dead backups, because you're going to keep them in hand to save for, that's 2 extra CP, so... You hold on to them, you get 7-card hands, and you go and then you draw more. So it's going to increase your. It's not going to sift nearly as fast, but still allows for some sifting by the simple fact it draws as well. So you're going to get your cooler stuff earlier.
Yeah, just make sure you don't end your turn with 5 cards in hand while you're on the field. Yes,
don't do that, please.
Yeah, this is a problem because I say this many times on the podcast. I'm just the host. That's why I host. I've rated Ash as C. Because I don't see the point of it.
There's a lot of people who agree with you there, so
I'm not. Yeah, I just don't really see much point in it. I appreciate your arguments. Maybe I don't play Wind very much, so maybe that's what it is. But for me, it's not that much point of it really. Chat is saying a mix. We've got some A's, some C's. Mid game, this forward will be dangerous. Cheap mono win card. Gain more board white tools. Wants to say A. B, no better. Yeah, not better than Water Ash. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. If you're going to play Ash, you would probably I'd play the other one. So yeah, that's interesting. So we're starting to.
Water Ash turning off abilities is massive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was very good. That was very good against Hein when Hein saw play. It was just turn it off, and you had to use a card in your hand to save it from Ash every turn.
Yeah, and 3-drop is slower, and the move is slower.
Water Ash's ability to turn off abilities is too useful. Someone said, could you Amaterasu on the draw? The 3-cast draw.
It's during the end turn.
It's the end phase, isn't it?
Yeah, during end step, so no.
Nice idea, but yeah, end phase you can't respond, so...
It's not...
Amaterasu.
Yeah, for the judges in the chat who get it, it's essentially it's not a phase you're in. You're basically your opponent's about to enter active phase essentially, so it's their turn at that point. So there's no stack interaction at all.
Okay, so I'm moving into ice next. I don't care what order it's meant to be. So the Emperor. So Emperor for ice. Peter, you're our sort of ice expert. So do you want to lead on Emperor?
This is one I'm in iron about actually since I saw it. I saw it initially. I think it was early today. Mitch posted a picture of it, and I was, yeah. I've put it as a C at the moment. It went from B to C, C to B. I don't know. It's very iffy. Like I think I do like the reborning effect of it. I think that's pretty cool. But I think like the fact that you got to kind of invest to get the on-entry effect as well. I think I just don't see myself putting it in. I may try it, but no, not for me. I think a C. I think it belongs with tens in there. So yeah, cool.
Mitch?
Was that Mia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just double check that I have gone C as well. If I haven't, I don't know. No, I went C. I think it's crap.
Oh, really?
C for crap.
Bastard.
But it's like
Any redeeming features for you? So yeah, we should just note at this point. So yeah, the rating is S to C, but because something is C, and sometimes it doesn't mean it's awful. It's just because we have to put them in a bracket. You can't just give everything A or it's boring. So for example, a C tier in Opus 11 was actually much higher than a B tier in like Opus 10 and stuff like that. So, but I think there's different ratings of C. It sounds like Mitch is going for the low end of C anyway.
And this definitely is the low end of C. This is
so Sergio on the chat says, "What's the lowest? Is it an F?" And then we said, "No, it's A, B, and C." And he said, "Okay, F." Not a fan there.
It's
legend.
If you want the discard, run like Argath or something. I don't really see the point of it. You've got.
Oh no, he's better than Argath. He's better than Argath. Potentially a really good card.
Well, I mean,
he's a C in terms of this.
You've got to run like shitter cards to go with it. Is the way I see it. It's not like Gilgamesh, where some of the Gilgameshes could have actually done stuff. This one's, I don't know. I just because they're
you
all
going to see as well, Mitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see. What was yours, Mike?
I put it as D because I don't think it has. So it's obviously low end C, but I do think it has some redeeming quality, and it's the fact that it'll pad out an ice deck in L3 because there's not that much just base discard in L3 right now. I don't believe.
Just remember,
L3's
the Emperor is Kageyama's favorite card, so. If he's listening, you are making me cry right now. So,
I'm sorry, Kageyama-san, but it's good in L3, and L3 is a relevant format now, so it's worth bringing up, I suppose.
I mean, One Wing Slayer says conditional discard. I play mono ice all the time. That's a Freudian slip there. I play mono ice all the time, and I don't think this will cut it. So I thought you would all say this. So I've gone for B. I like to sort of be the voice of the people, slightly different and not overly competitive. I think normally I rate stuff down if it's overly niche, but I do think it's quite fun to do like an Emperor deck. It's quite new. The only thing that holds this card back with the recursion ability, if it said card name the Emperor, that you can play that back, it would be wicked, I think, because then you could do lots of fun things of changing all the Emperor cards, but it doesn't.
But
good. I still think it's quite fun and a bit different, so I'm going to give it a B. And I'll remind Kageyama if I ever see him at like Gunslinger that I voted for his man, the Emperor. So yeah, I don't think it's that bad. I was talking about we'll get to XF later, obviously, but if you could discard for an Emperor to play an Emperor and then kill it with the XDef, you can get a discard out and your Emperor would survive. Would he survive, right? Yeah, because you broke it. So that might be a nice little turn one play. Emperor Golbez deck. So Bed and Team Calamity, he is our Golbez player. Could you put this in a Golbez? I don't know. So you didn't get the autos anyway. What is it?
Oh, you could play Ash in Golbez, couldn't you?
You could.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Sadly, Golbez doesn't count for casting that many
And yeah,
times, but
you wouldn't get the discard off of Emperor.
You wouldn't get the
But-
ability.
Or when it enters, but obviously we can die and then come back, so then you'd get it. So maybe in Golbez.
Okay, so moving on. So we spoke. Someone mentioned Gilgamesh a minute ago. So we'll go lightning. Gilgamesh. Mitch, you love lightning.
Now this is gonna, I think, annoy some people, but I've put this as C because obviously where this card is meant to be is Wind Lightning, because the card that it searches is a wind card and it pings. That's great, but there's so many better break cards in Lightning that I don't even know if this is good. The Enkidu that it searches, it's all right, but you're running Cactar. You like, for the most part, you'd be running Cactars, so I don't think you need much of ping from like other forwards. The break damage forward is nice, but then also if you're paying 5, I'd rather use that card in hand and play a 9k or in Orlando or something like that. It's the only thing I really like about this card is that it can just put itself into the break zone to break a forward, which is nice, but I just think there's better cards.
Michael, any follow up on that?
yeah, I put it as a C as well. I think in Wind Lightning, it's just kind of like a bad Orlando, because if you break a forward for the 5 CP, which would be ideal, you've now lost your forward. So it's essentially like 7 CP, because it's basically like a summon at that point that might be able to block for the turn after you played it. So yeah, I think that I'd run 3 Orlando before I ran 1 of this and 1 Lightning, but probably still, I don't know. Even then, yeah, it's low C.
Low C. Peter, anything? I don't remember you didn't really play Lightning, so
I don't play Lightning very much. I do think Lightning got a hell of a lot this set. I think they did very well. I think they're probably the best actually elements for what they got. It's a C. I don't have much to say about it. I mean,
someone
a lot
wanted
of
to
Lightning
see the
stuff
Enkidu.
breaks.
Enkidu.
Yeah, I saw the Enkidu. Is it a monster, isn't it?
No,
It's a forward.
forward.
It's got monster art.
7k
Oh,
forward with
right.
the fear through it, yeah. Job Warrior, which some people think is a thing.
I think
Deals 1000
it's
damage
a
to all
C,
forwards as a special as well. Deal it damage equal to its power minus.
Yeah, I think like Michael said, Wind Lightning. Yeah, not for me. C.
So it's another C. I also rated it a C. I don't think there's too much. This is going to anger.
Some
Ben in the
Gilgamesh
chat says he's an
fanboy.
S. He does love Gilgamesh decks. I guess if you have it with the other Gilgamesh, it doesn't matter so much that you kill it. I just don't see the point of paying 5 just to put it straight in the break zone.
Yeah, it's a good summon.
Yeah, it's
But
overpriced
worse
summon,
than a pre-existing Wind Lightning card. So it's
Yeah, and as I said, Enkidu is not there. Maybe there'll be another one coming up that would make it better. So C's all round. Mark, you said C, didn't you?
Yeah.
It was C's for everyone. C's for everyone. Chat is saying, guys, we've got S tier. Mitch is drunk. This is S tier even without Enkidu. I would put this.
Aslan.
Warhammer Fish says I'd put this at Z tier. It's shit in my opinion. Quicker than Dorgan.
Who said S tier? Did Aslan say
Sildra
S tier?
search. We've got Sildra search him, so he's good in Agrius as a decent forward. Okay, C maybe the Enkidu. Yes, thank you Zodiac Braves for the images, for cracking the release date. Someone said, "Wow, I think it's A. Cost 5 can answer lots of threats. Some nasty Wind Lightning combinations. An Onion Knight Wind Lightning fan. It's a break.
I like Wind Onion Knight. I think it's still decent, and I think it works really good to 5-drop Orlando, which does this job better.
But as I said, we can only pick 4 of each section, only 2 S. So if you're just saying everything's A, it's easy for you. But if you're playing properly, as
you're saying A, but
then
then you've got
you would only
stuff
have
some of
4
the multi
A's.
elements.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
Yeah.
so next is Earth. So let's go to Earth, which is the Krill. Anyone know the official lore?
I think it's Cryo.
Krill. We'll go
That's
Krill.
just that's what I've heard from City of Brahmana.
Mitch, do you want to lead on Krill? I think you led on Gilgamesh, didn't you? We'll go Peter.
Yeah.
Peter, you can lead on Krill.
Sure.
I've put it as C tier.
C tier.
So yeah, I'm really sorry. Yeah, I filled up all my C's actually
You
already.
have filled
But,
up. Not a good start.
It's not a great start. Nah. Yeah, I'm really sorry if I'm wrong with this card, but I don't really get it. I kind of like that you can play the new Fenrir and like bring it in and things like that. But no, I don't see it. I don't see what for what it does. I don't know if I'd ever play it.
Michael,
I know
you
it's a Warrior
anything
of
other than a
Light,
C?
so there is that.
I've got it at a high C. So like
Okay.
this
Mitch,
is
have you got higher than C?
No, it's
Oh shit.
crap.
Okay, so
it's got some interesting stuff though. Like if he has Carbuncle with it, like you've drawn a card, which is actually fairly decent. Like the 2-drop, which I actually really like, and actually works well with 2-drop Ash as well. It's a 2-drop, so it's actually a good target for things. So I'm going to rate a really high C because it's very searchable. And there's a lot of mentioned to 2-drop Earth cards from a lot of different cards, like the new Galuf and stuff, which isn't that great, but still, this is it's fairly decent and it's got decent effect. And it won't be the crux of your deck, but if you're running mono Earth and you don't have many cards that draw you stuff anyway, other than those like the EX Golem and all that, you're probably will run this. Just not like, oh yeah, I'm going to build a deck around this Creel kind of thing.
Yeah, I hate this. I always go last, but I've actually gone A, so I'm going to speak for this one because I think it's quite fun. It looks like chat has got my back because there's a lot of S's coming up in the chat. I just think it's fun. Maybe it's more if you overthink it in like competitive terms, but I think this has a lot of sort of new deck combinations and sort of more fun deck combinations, a lot more things you can do with it. I just think it's neat. I think it's cool. Picking out other people's summons. Summons have sort of made a comeback as well since from Opus 11. It didn't used to be, particularly at that higher end of the games, people weren't playing many summons, but now they are. So you should have some targets. So yeah, I think it's cool. I think someone mentioned Warrior of Light. Oh yeah, Ben in the who said that in the chat? Yeah, Warrior of Light. They're picking up on that. That's obviously going to have some plays.
But, yeah, that's going to be good. That's going to be good. Yeah.
Because you're playing Earth, you've got Tyro as well, so you can actually cast, because it doesn't cast it for you, do you? You still have to pay the CP.
Yeah, you
have
to pay CP.
So the Tyro is quite good there, because you can pay whatever.
But that's interesting. So with the cast it, you don't have to pay you just cast it and pay the cost. You don't have to pay any of the colours, do you?
No, you
choose one summon, you can cast it as though you owned it.
Yeah, you'd still have to pay the.
You'd have to pay.
You still have to pay, like say it's fire. You have to pay fire, and say if it's Phoenix, you still have to tap fire.
Okay, now I'm sticking with it. I think it might inspire some creativity and something a bit different. So yeah, I'm plugging for it. I think the artwork's quite cool as well.
I like the dragon, and
the dragon's cute. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. It's been rated high in the chat. People were saying S and stuff.
I would have rated it higher if I had more space, but there's quite a lot of B's and quite a lot of A's.
So someone said it's hard. It's a hard one. It depends on your opponent and forces you to build your deck a certain way. You could play little more one-offs because you can use them another time against high mass. You can give it a B. Yeah, it's fair. I think that's why I've rated it high, is because it forces you to build your deck a certain way, and it's usually not the like obvious way or the sort of standard way. So that's why I like it, because it's sort of it might inspire something a little bit different. Okay, so I think we're into water now before we go light and dark, and then we'll move into multi-elements. So water, Una. Who wants to take Una? Michael, I don't think you've led one before.
I figured that's yeah. I figured that's
of course, yeah.
The YYT, yeah.
The YYT. So this is S.
Yeah.
You're gonna go back on your sleeve. What are you going for?
This is my favourite Una art. I had sleeves of this actually. So I've not rated it S, and there's a good reason, and that's because well, actually, we'll get to that when we get to my S tiers. But I think this is a fantastic card, actually. I think it's party attacks. Like usually when card effects have party attack in their text, they're usually quite bad. But like this time around, is different because it's a bit of a lightning rod because it's going to remove forwards if it ever gets to attack, and there's lots of good ways to give it haste, but we'll just keep to water. If it's left alive, then it's going to cause issues. There's a lot of cards like that already, but this costs -1 CP, and it's very, very easy to party attack, especially in water decks. I can actually, it's job Gull Wings, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I can actually see it being, I can see it seeing play over the 6-drop, or like maybe alongside the 6-drop in Gull Wings decks, which I've seen a tiny resurgence at the start and end of every Opus that come out, because untargetability is it's crazy. It's really, really good. So being able to protect it with those, even in just splashing it like a mono water deck, you party attack your Layla Viking, or even like a Winds deck, and you've got like you've got a good high cost, like high power wind card like Nui Stoll or whatever, and you've got your rubbish wee Zidane. Rather than just leaving the Zidane open to a chump block later, you just party attack with it. So you draw 2 if you're running Water Wind or whatever. So obviously not going to run it in like YRP, but say like an Earth Wind and you're taking water or whatever. So I think it's good.
Mitchell?
Yeah, pretty much the same reasoning. I've got it as an A, and it's a very high A. There's a few cards that I wanted to put as S, and this was one of them.
Yeah, same.
So it's just because I think the S tiers are a little bit better, but this is like pushing S. So I've just put it for A for now.
Peter, have you gone high, or you have to? Because you have to start going high soon, because you just rated everything. Everything's trash.
I had trouble squeezing this into A, unfortunately. It's a B. I think I agree with all of you guys. I think it's a great card. I plan on using it, actually. I've got a deck in mind to use it straight away as well. But yeah, no, it's a B, unfortunately.
So I've gone A as well. I didn't actually think you would all go A on this one, but I've gone A. I think it's fun. I don't like it's a Gull Wing and it's Una, because I think we get a lot of Unas and it just ends up making lots of the old Unas like a bit redundant. It's like there's too many Unas, but I think it's fun.
Never enough.
There's a lot of party attack stuff coming. There's lots of party attack stuff coming. That's obviously it sort of gets underlooked, doesn't it, in the game, that ability. So now we've got lots of stuff. They're almost trying to like ram it down our faces that we should be doing it more, probably. So yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's fun.
There's an interesting like lining of the stars, and the spoiler YYT got this. It distinctly refers to party attacking, and then this Una really benefits from party attacks and stuff. So
did you get the Chocobo?
Yeah, we did. So it's,
Yeah.
They couldn't give us Una because it's a legend, so they gave us
Yeah. Well, you can always tell you can always tell you're standing in the game based on the spoiler you get. So they've given you one that goes as a box topper. we got the like throwaway monster. We had our time. We had our time in the past. We used to get top tier spoilers, but it's fine. We're happy to get them. Yeah, cool. So chat is high on this one as well. A's. Someone says wants it to be an S, but a definite A. Someone's mentioned a new Frank grid, which we'll get onto. Mid-Prev also encourages party attacking. Water Lightning for this Una. Someone says Pot of Greed. I guess that's a Magic card. I didn't play Magic, so
it's a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay. Is that just like for drawing stuff? Is it?
Yeah. They got banned. They got banned because it draws a bit much stronger in Yu-Gi-Oh than it is in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But, yeah. No. Very cool. So I did see someone mention they weren't happy with the art because they said it was like a dodgy card cut. And then someone was like, no, that's how it's drawn. She's meant to be on the left.
Yeah.
But, I've just noticed as well, Mitch, she's got like Seymour's tattoos on her top. What's that about?
Isn't that I don't know. Jet's thing?
Was it Jet's thing?
Yeah.
What's that about then? That's weird as well.
I don't know.
I won't delve too much into
it. The one thing that I do like about this card, though, and it hasn't been said yet, is that the element change really is something unique. Like, you can change it to, say, fire, and then use that card that says choose one fire card, give it haste and brave.
Oh, yeah.
You can really, change like this card.
What's the summon
got
I
so
like?
much potential.
Hashmail. It's like a built-in Hashmail. So
Yeah.
when you've got little tricks you can be. I used to do that with the Opus 2 Una with the sphere change special.
Yeah.
So you could change you had to pay a special for it, obviously. But yeah, you could in a very niche.
We don't talk about that, Una.
Oh, I love that Una.
We don't do that. Right?
But yeah, no, I like it. Little tricks and stuff because you can bolt onto the elements. So that's quite cool. Okay, so I think we're into light now. Oh, Andy says that's a symbol of Yevon, the religion of F10 world. So there you go.
Thank
That's
you,
why
Andy.
everyone's got it.
Love you.
Thank you.
I love FF10. It's
Oh,
like my
is that
favourite one as
Andy?
well.
Is that
Yeah, that's
Andy
weird,
Johnson?
Andy. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
I like Andy.
So yeah, let's move on to. We're going to give Andy an A.
Andy's S tier. Andy's S tier.
Andy's
okay.
S tier.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna knock down a card now.
Okay, so into light now. So Lena, Mitch, I think you're all over this one, aren't you? Oh, maybe I'm misjudged.
No. I am, and this is actually one of my S tiers.
Ooh, okay, and you definitely need on this one.
Yeah, I just think the fact is it can do the effect to bring your forward back during your opponent's turn. Means that there's so much you can do with it. Like it's a 3-drop, so it's really easy to get back. You can get it back with Phoenix. You can get it back with like Shantotto. You can search in fire, and then with that new Goblin Princess, play it down. Goblin Princess will break, and then you play the Sage to give it haste. And if you had 5 backups, you've now got 6 tokens on this to get like Nail or something like that. It's just there's so much you can do with it. I've just even old cards like the 4-drop Warrior Light, or when it dies, you can get a Warrior Light from 3 cost or less from the break zone, so you can get this back like during your opponent's turn.
Oh yeah, Arc. Yeah.
No, the actual wall. I think it's called Wall.
Oh yeah, no,
wall,
the light wall, yeah.
And the interesting thing is, if you've got Cosmos and say these 2 on the field, and say you've got another like Lena or something like that, and they break Cosmos, Warrior Light will trigger, and you can get the Lena back, and then obviously that Lena gets the trigger again for the counters and can revive Wall again. So it's just a crazy combo that you can do.
Michael, any follow-up to Lena?
I think it's very, very good, and I'm probably it's going to seem controversial, but just because I ran out of space, I've put it at a high B tier. It would be an A tier if the A tiers weren't like already so broken. But yeah, so it's high B tier. It's good. It's very, very good. Warrior of Light is a fantastic job to have because pretty much every job has a searcher now, but it has an EX searcher, and as Mitch already said, it's got good recursion through that light wall, but also the 5-drop Arc that can bring back a standard unit when you're damage free. You can bring back a standard unit or a 3-drop Warrior Light from your break zone, and then activate backups, and that's really, really cool because it means you can like play more or do whatever. And that Arc actually works off as well because it brings backups back from break zone as well. It's all in all, it's I just think it's good. This effect good. I don't know. Most decks probably wouldn't want to run it over Citra, but decks that would run this aren't going to be too sad that they don't have EX draw card stuff because they've already got tap and bring stuff back. I wish it. I think in a deck you probably need Ganashi or other protection stuff, like Opus 5 Histola. So I see it probably simply in a wins deck or like a hasty deck like Fire Lightning, like the new hero card, the 1-drop that gives something haste. Like it'll be really, really good in that. Yeah, it's just good. So high B tier.
Peter?
Yeah, high B tier, Elena. I think it's. I agree with Mitchell on his points there. He honestly, I think since I saw it, I fell in love with it. Apart from the fact she's in a bath of acid or something. It's just absolutely...
I think it's grass. I think.
Oh, is it grass?
It's Amano grass. You have to take everything with a pinch of Amano. So.
Nah, she's melting. She's melting.
She's dying. She wants to revive herself. But no, I just honestly think that the combos you can do are pretty broken. The only thing she's in B is similar to what Michael said. There's so many good cards I wanted to fit in A and S tier that The only reason she's in B is because she has that dull ability. I know, like Mitchell said, you can play Sage, is it, to give her haste, and obviously the new 1-drop.
There's goblins as well and stuff like that.
Goblins, so yeah, you can play realms. Yeah, the stuff is endless. So, yeah, don't get me wrong, I love this card. She's very high B.
I went B as well. I know Mitch, you've gone all about the recursion. I guess she's in the Warrior of Light build for that, like the fires. Can you get the dull ability off before she gets killed? I'm not sure. That would be my worry with it. And then, making sure you can get, you need to really play properly to get the backup, get the counters working and stuff, which is what I would probably completely stuff up. So I've gone B. But yeah, it doesn't really. Warrior of Lights doesn't really ever do anything for me. I've never really been into it. So normally they go down the bottom of the list, but I've picked 2 others for C, so I'll give it a B. Chat is saying an A on the edge of S. Someone said Z tier hate counters. One Wings Layer. I wonder if they
just use dice, man. Just use dice.
Dice. I wonder if they make a card to double counters on things in the future, because they seem to be a thing that's not going away. So yeah, what's the Gestallion does something, doesn't it? Gestallion Sid adds a counter. I think it's only on monsters though, isn't it? From the last from Opus 11.
I know when you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's monsters only. But Mitch will look it up. One week says hard to say, needs to dull for effect, and there's no protection. But one of the few cards to revive things. I suppose if you think about in Lightning, what was the Lightning legend that brings to Zemus? He brings stuff back, and once he gets rocking, he's mental. But I suppose Leonard doesn't have that ability to get counters back on.
Well, he kind of dipped in play quite a bit. Like when Mono Lightning died, like it came back obviously, but died for a bit, and then Zemus kind of just stopped seeing play much. But Lena's kind of better than Zemus because it's better and worse because you can't just discard it in matchups where it's going to be awful. Like against like YRP, you're not going to get off a Zemus at all. But like, so you could discard it, which is better. But in this, it doesn't cost CP to do it. It just needs to dull. Like the backup stuff, you play 5 backups, you get to use it once. Or once or twice, depending on your things, and that CP you already had out, so you're not losing much like you are with Zemus.
Okay, so we'll move on to the big talking point at the moment, which is the Dark Legend Neo X Def. Who wants to go on Neo X Def? Michael, you completely trashed Veritas before on one of the podcasts. I guess this is kind of like
I did, didn't I?
This is kind of like a buffed Veritas, so we won't get you on it. Peter, go on, lead with Neo X Def.
Okay. You want me to rate X Def?
I mean, I don't think we need to spend too long on this because it's been talked to death already.
Okay.
Just go. Is it as bad as you think? Is it not as bad as
I put it as an A.
Okay.
I put it as an A in my list. I think it will see play.
Absolutely will see play.
And I think it needs to when building decks, you need to definitely probably have an answer for it in your deck. If it comes out early game, then like turn 1 to 3, then your deck should probably have an answer to it. And late game, I don't think it'll be as much of an issue. I put it as an A because of its inbuilt protection. It's just crazy, right? So it's really, really strong.
Michael.
I've rated it probably lower than most people have. I've got it as B tier, but it's the lowest card in B tier. So I wanted to rate it C, but I figured it's going to see so much play I couldn't reasonably so. It's a card that once you played against it like the first 2 times, you've got it. You know what to do against it. You know how to play against it. If your deck allows for that, if it's got the consistency and the ability to deal with it. Peter's right. If you play it in the first few turns, it's probably going to be quite toxic, and I think that's less this card's broken and more hey, can we have 3? Can we have best of 3 format or like 2 deck format as a standard? Because then that's not an issue. Because it's very unlikely your opponent's going to draw, and maybe they might do, but still, it's not that great. It's got Veritas Syndrome, so it's a big undiscardable card that's always going to cost you at least a card in hand unless you start Sibyllin or whatever, unless you cheat it in. And it has to be, it's only good at a certain point in a game and against certain matchups. So it's good. It's good to see play. But I don't think it's nearly as toxic and as big an issue as people are making it out to be.
Mitch, you agree with that, or?
Yeah, no, I completely. I think like at the start of the meta, this card is you're gonna see it a lot. But then once people realise like just run Veritas or something like that, and then like if you can search it early, this card basically does nothing, and they've just wasted 6 CP for like nothing early on. So I don't think it's a big problem. But as I said, we're just going to see it a lot early. So I've put it as a B. But I think like early on, that's the only time you're really going to see this card.
Yeah, I think I put it as a B as well. Check my notes. Yeah, B for me. It's one of those cards like Mike said, I'd want to rate it lower because I just don't like it as a card. Sort of design point of view, I think it's just a bit anti-game. We had this sort of debate when we did Philo Thanos. It was like everyone said it was rubbish, but you had to rate it a bit higher just because it would see a lot of play. I think it will be toxic. A couple of chats sort of saying they're going much higher because I think everyone's going to play it. There's lots of S's. People get bored of it quickly. S tier will warp deck building for a while. I think that's probably where this is coming in. You need to consider this, particularly a tournament play, because you don't want to lose. You go to a big tournament and you lose because someone plays Neo X Death Turn 1 and you haven't thought about it, which will happen. It used to be like a goal bez sort of thing, wasn't it? Or, if you don't think about it, you get slapped down. I think a lot of people play it just because you can sort of cheese a win from it. First turn Neo can be nasty. Can persist on the field with Saganashi. Someone says Dark Ice. Andy genuinely feels like Turbo Ice without the foreplay. This card has a lot of search. It's inherently toxic. Will warp the meta into an X-Def. As Dan says, play Gilgamesh turn 1 and kill it.
The Turbo Ice comment's very, very good actually, because I would agree there. But if remember back to when Turbo Ice was meta, if you look at tournament games like that are on stream, and I only look back at it recently, it only had about 50% win rate. It was just the fact that it took like the games it won where it had skillful games, but the games it won, you're usually just your opponent can't do anything, and that's which is very much what I like this as well. And I like them without the foreplay because you can put this in any kind of deck. But once again, Turbo Ice wasn't. Once people learned how to deal with it, it wasn't a big issue. 50% win rate is very, very high. I don't see Neo XF having a 50% win rate, but then if you look at stuff like Rampair, like if you play that against any other deck, that's going to have more than a 50% win rate. So it's not. It is very, very much like Turbo Ice, and people will catch on to it. And I don't know if it's worth a ban. I think it's just worth maybe a change in rules. Like as I said, like the best of 3 format or 2 deck format would probably.
Like you said, I think that's important. Yeah. It could get you into like a top cut best of 1, and then when it switches to best of 3, you might struggle.
Yeah, especially when they can see your opponent. You can see your opponent's deck, so then you're like, okay, well, I know I've just got to search Veritas or keep Veritas in hand every time, and I've won the game.
As much as you hate it, Veritas is not bad. Really, is it?
No. My opinion is swayed. It's brutal. It still has Veritas syndrome, but that's fine. I'm gonna run Kadaj 4 times before I run 1 Veritas, but I get it.
Okay, let's move into multi-elements because
these are the real cards.
These are the real cards. We've already wasted most of the time on the crap ones. I don't know what order we want to start on these ones. I'm just going to go the order I've got them here. I think we'll start with Faris. So the Firewater Faris. If we don't think these are that good, just whiz through them so we can focus on the real ones before we run out of time. But Faris, Peter, anything for Faris?
B. I actually quite like it. It combos quite well with the Light Legend that you can it can reduce the cost by 2 as well, and it's got some ping as well now. I mean 2k, I don't know how relevant that is, but if you could pretty easily stack it up if you can reduce I don't know, maybe the cost of like a Dusk, and then Dusk comes in, does some damage, brings something else in, does some damage. I don't know. Yeah.
Bring in Lena for 1, and then that, I suppose it continually sets up the next play as well, doesn't it? Which is quite nice. Mitch, do you think this is higher than
No, I agree with Peter.
Oh,
It's
B as
B.
well.
Yeah, I mean, Wall hasn't written, well, the Warrior Lights hasn't taken off really, but might be its best chance to do it. We'll see.
Michael, are you going B as well? You've got a B and a C slot.
It's going to C, but it's the highest in C. It's probably where Neo Sith should be. Sort of where it is, but yeah, it's good. It's good. I don't have a thing wrong with it.
I went
Removal and reduction.
I went C as well. Not because I think it's rubbish. I just think it's a bit niche. Warrior of Light. Haven't played them much. I don't really understand it too much. Ben has said in the chat it's broken S tier. Now he plays a lot of Warrior of Lights at Team Calamity, so that slightly terrifies me that he's saying it's broken in S, because I will quickly see the value. But yeah, outside of Warrior of Light, it doesn't do anything. Ben, how much can you stack this ping in a Warrior of Light deck? Oh, it's on a delay, isn't it? We'll find out in 2 minutes' time. We'll move on. So yeah, okay. We'll move on from Varys because it's not that interesting. It's just sort of one deck. Someone else said, yeah, very, very good card for Wall. Will it be enough with... I don't think it's 20 quite as dramatic, but will it be enough with Rifia? Setting her up properly for the first 2 turns, but after that, stupid card, very powerful. Yeah, I do think it's powerful. I do think that. I rate it down because it's a bit boxed in walls. Cool. Oh, Warrior of Light ping stack is so much apparently. So we shall see. Okay, we'll move into. Let's move into this book. I think we're going to talk about it for ages, which is the Thancred. Michael, you've been pinging us all week since we said you want to come on the show about Thancred. Do you want to go for it? You've got. I'm only going to give you a 4-minute cut.
So cool! It's so cool. It's interesting. It's got flavor text. It does things outside of other elements, more so than the other multi-element cards. It does it in the fact that you need to run water and lightning cards. That's cool. As a joking hype aside, it's really good. Like I don't tend to play about with new cards as they're getting spoiled, but I was playing with some YYT boys, and we ended up testing an Agnes deck with this, and it was just fun. It ended up being the crux of the deck, and I think when a new card ends up being the crux of an old deck, that kind of shows you its power. It can revive a forward, which is always good. Like we've been speaking about Lena there, but this does what Lena does, but on entry, and that's broken. And then there's lots of ways to give it haste, including a static backup that's searchable by a 3-drop, which is by another backup, which is inherently good. So as long as you got another lightning, I think as long as you got 3 of these or like another Scion 7 Dawn in your deck, you're probably worth running Alizé. Give it haste so it can, bring back a forward and kill one in the same turn, and that's a really big power play for on one card. So this is an S.
Yeah, Mitch, follow this up. Sorry, I knew you were going to say S. I already typed it in. I should be more of a proper host. Yeah, go on, Mitch, follow it up because I know you've taken an S slot already, actually. So
I have, and I've put this as an A, but it's one of those ones that could be an S if like the other cards weren't taking up the slots. I agree with Michael. It's a great card. I think it's like. I feel like this is what all the dual element cards should have been like. Like, I really like the idea that the more water lightning cards that you've played down, the stronger the effects are. I think more of them should have been like that. Like Lock as well. I think that's a good idea. It works with the deck. Some of the others, I'm like, they don't really seem. They could just be a normal like single element. It's not. But this one, I said, I really like the way it's worded. I love all the effects. But I said it's just because we were forced into 2 S's. I've put it as an A.
Peter, are you on the Thancred train?
I certainly am,
Yes.
and
Is this going to be your first S?
I'm still debating about it now. I've got one solid S, and I'm debating between 2. Go on then. Yeah, I'll put it as an S.
Okay.
For the reasons Michael said. It's amazing card to play.
This shows me up because I've had it as a B, and then as the week's gone on, I've had to push it up because what everyone's talking about is this card. So I dismissed it. I don't know why. I just wasn't sure about the because you need the different colours. I wasn't sure, but
so
people
good,
who know seem to know, and they're all saying this is S and it's broken. There's a lot of S's in the chat. Water Lightning got so much stuff. Really excited for Water Lightning. Uni goes well with this, changing elements. That's quite interesting. That's what we were saying about the sort of like little combos. You can pop Uni onto the colour you need. So you can
the Thancred King party attack with basically all your deck.
Well, no, I mean, I think he's saying when Thancred enters the field, Uni's water, and then like she can change the lightning and stuff like that. So that's quite nice.
Oh yeah, definitely. They both work for each other. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's quite a nice one. Water lightning will be good.
That's a good idea, Razan.
Lots of combos. Sid Previa, the new one, I guess. Want to say S, not sure how much to set up. So A, Wee Andy, Water Lightning in Agrius with new Odin. And lightning being meta. Someone says.
Oh yeah, they're both good cards. So
Warhammer Fish gives it an S for the gun blade. That's quite cool.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. What did I say? A. Yeah, SS. What did you say, Peter? SS. Oh yeah, SSA.
I forget.
Yeah,
I forget what I said.
Someone else should have said S because we can't be saying SS that much on stream. God's sake.
True. Yeah, we're gonna get shut down. YouTube police.
Demonetize before you monetize. That's it.
Okay, so I don't think we'll see what we think of this one. So the Celsius Fire Ice dude. Any Fire Ice players? I know Team Calamity has a thing about Fire Ice, and it's not very popular. Not because, as in, they don't like playing it; they don't like playing against it. What do we think of Celsius? Mitch, do you want to go on Celsius?
No, not really. This is the one I've struggled most with because I didn't know if I wanted this to be an A or a B, and I think I've put it as an A, but I'd happily put it as a B either way because it's this and I think Lock are interchangeable because it depends how good Lock is. But I'm going to put this as higher as an A just because it can fit into the FF6 style. Like if you hit a shadow or something like that this card is insane. So I said I like it, but I think there are better cards, so I've just put it as an A for now.
Hey, Peter?
B. I think it's a really good card. You can get. I mean, there's so many. I think 5 drops in the deck. I think isn't there? There's quite a few good. I think Mitchell just mentioned one. Shadow. There's Cloud. They play Cloud, the 5-drop legend. And then even if you hit like a. I wouldn't even care if I hit a Lock off it. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's what the deck's all about, right? So, yeah, I think it's a really, really strong card.
Michael, you echoing this? Or?
Yeah, I put it as A. I think I've played Fire Ice the most out of us then. I played it at Euros a wee while back. It's good deck, and this fits its vibe really well already. Like, you can bring back Glaswell and stuff with this, and if you've got 5 backups, you've still got the backup up to do it, because this only costs 4 itself. When you think about the recursion Ice Fire has as well, because when you remove some of your forwards from the game, that's quite a bad thing, obviously. But when you think about it, there's only FF6 forwards that you're going to keep in your break zone, so a solid 50% of the deck, because it runs like 30 forwards nowadays, doesn't it? You're okay removing to increase your chances of getting a better card, because you remove 5 cards from deck, so for 5 cards in your break zone, and you only hit a Lock from it. That's kind of fine because that's CP you didn't have anyway, and you weren't going to have.
Mitch,
so that's a
A. Going A as well. So Michael's going A. Yeah. So it's just me. So, damn it, I've gone C. Is that right? That can't be right. Yeah. Okay. So I don't think that. It's not that I don't think it's that good. I can see me not flipping any forwards over when I flip my 5 cards. There's not enough to stack it for me, so I worry about moving. And then when do you play it? How often you need to get? Do you go for 5 cards in your break zone quickly to be able to do this, or is this like a late game? Yeah, I just don't really know where it sits at the moment, so that's why I'm not sure on it.
It's good early game as well because you can discard it for fire or ICP. So even in opening hand, it's going to be naturally good. Because if you don't have the CP, you need
your color fix sort of thing. So
So
I've gone for the other ones above this that are a little bit more sort of spicy or gives you a bit more sort of flexibility. That's why I've rated it low. But
I do like that it's not choose up to 5 forwards and ice forwards, so you do it on resolution.
So this means it's protectable.
Yeah, it's just that.
Can they miss dragon as you? Yeah, they can't miss dragon or anything like that.
Yeah, they can miss dragon, but then they don't know. Like, say you want to keep some of the forwards, it all happens on resolution. So then they could be like, oh, I'll white mage to remove one of. They can't reduce the amount, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
if you remove 5, and then they like, if you want to remove 5, and then they go, okay, I want to white mage one of your fire forwards. You can remove a different fire. You could fire or ice forward if you still want to hit that 5. It's not a problem.
Right, so you can keep stacking on top, keep adding up.
Yeah.
Cards. But Miss Dragon would wipe it completely.
Yeah, because that just removes your break zone.
Okay, I thought that's where you're going with the cheese thing. Okay, fair enough. Chat says S tier cough VV. Doesn't Kadaj ruin this?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you just choose
yeah.
forward. You're playing Fire Ice, you're just going to start choosing. The thing is, Terra as well, though, so like Kadaj has to work overtime because it's removed, because Fire Ice runs Terra, so you're removing their summons and their forward, so you got to get Kadaj out early for it to be a massive issue, but yeah, it does hurt it.
Yeah, can't you feel the break zone, cannot control what's on top of your deck. B, yeah, that's where I'm sort of sitting.
Yeah, Kadaj just wants to remove the whole deck, really, so...
Yeah, well, I see this. It sees play in this. I'll see play in the same deck that runs Nail, so it's going to have a high forward count anyway. So you're probably going to hit at least 1 forward in your top 5 because you're wanting to hit, try and hit 2 in a top 3. So
Slacksbond says, "Hi YYT team, thanks for the stream." This is actually the Team Calamity stream, but we nicked the YYT members in just for like the popular vote. So yeah, but yeah. Hi, Jeremy.
Because YYT wouldn't let me do my review, so...
No, he's not. He's banned from review, so...
I keep on saying stuff's bad and they get annoyed at me, and I'm like, yeah, fair.
Okay, Regis is up next. Mitchell, I know you've been talking about this constantly. You're probably going to say C now, but just to add as well, I'll pull up the chart before we get into the last 3 cards, so you can see where we're at. People have... Mostly the trash is filled up. So there's an odd B spot. This is mostly A's and S's left. So go on then, Mitch. Take it away.
S tier. This card is genuinely insane, I think. The fact is, the deck that it's built for is Rampair, and getting back like a Kane and Shantotto, just that alone is enough. Like, there's some crazy things that you can do with this card, and you can Sybil it in. Like, one of the ideas that I had originally was Legend Kefka, the 4-drop, the 8-drop from Opus 4. You break your 3 forwards, break a forward, and then you can Regis back the Shantotto and Kane that you've just broken and remove basically their board. I think this card is like probably the best. No, it's definitely the best Legend this set, I think.
That's fair. Andy said A, and he's just retracted his message in the chat. I think he suddenly realised the Kefka synergy, and he's like, you've talked him out of it.
He's put it into C, yeah.
Yeah. Kefka. Michael, are you on the Regis train?
It's good. It's a very good card. I put it at B. It's probably the highest in B. I've already said there's a high B, but it should be an A. It's very, very good. It discards for Lightning. I've already said that about other cards in the past, but it's searchable on EX. I already said that about like Lena and stuff, but that's really good. Like, Gladys already sees played to search Rampair and King of Bermesia and Regis, like the Earth Searcher one, but it's also like it doesn't have the like other problems that other name searchers have, where you're not going to ever run a Gestalian Empire set that isn't the searcher in an FF6 deck. Well, there's already a new searcher in FF 14, sorry. So, Cindy searches this and searches versatile. So this is going to see playing Rampair. It's going to see playing just standard Earth Lightning. It's really good, but it's got a really specific synergy that's inventive, but not the most splashable thing in the planet. So that's why I've rated it not S and maybe like a low A, because it's not just like, oh, I'm going to fire this in a deck, just because it's not the effect is quite specific.
Peter?
It's an A. I think it's a really good card. Similar reasons what Mitchell said. You can do some pretty cool, fun things with it. Its special ability is broken.
Yeah, special's good. Special's really good.
Yeah. No, I've got S tier as well, actually. I'm on Mitch's side. Yeah, I think it's it's just got lots and lots of possibilities. And you say it's not that splashable. I sort of think the other way. You could splash this because it's Earth. It means you can combo with lots of different types of things to sort of splash it in. So I think
when you splash it, it's splashable in decks, but because of like how like I mean like splashable isn't like you couldn't just I've had my turn, I'm gonna play this and it's gonna get me a lot of value because it's not guaranteed to, and that's what I mean by splash. Sorry, I said that weird.
So no, I think this is good. I think this is a card that sees it's powerful and it will only get better. I think it
also works well with the Kingsglaives as well, because Nyx comes in and breaks the Kingsglaive, and then you can get that, like, so if you break Libertus, then you can play this to get Libertus back.
Fair actually.
Comes onto the field, you can get Noctis back. It's so like you can just keep getting these back.
Oh God, bringing back Versatile's going to be absurd because that card just says draw 3. Okay, right. I'm getting more and more sold to this actually.
So we've got another Scottish backtracker here.
It's Derrita.
He reckons he misclicked. He's gone S.
Right, no, listen.
God tier.
This I can at least discard this if I don't want to play it.
Good thing I got my Gabramps already. Someone says B because they don't know anything about the game. Okay, fair enough. You can search it makes it S very reliable. What else we've got? Regis, my favourite character, blah blah blah. EX search, Regis. Oh, I'm back.
Oh.
I'm back.
We lost our host, guys.
We lost him. We've crashed the
internet. It's a free-for-all.
We've crashed the internet.
If the host isn't back, if the host isn't back in 15 minutes, we can legally leave.
I was just saying, the chat was saying lots of God tier stuff, so everyone's happy with this one. You can nearly leave. We're nearly done. Okay. Have we saved the best till last? Oh, no,
I'm having fun talking about Final Fantasy.
Okay, Y'shtola is up next. Who wants to go Y'shtola? So we've got a lot of S slots left, a lot of A slots.
I could do Y'shtola.
Go on then.
F1's probably like my main deck at the moment, and it's a very, very varied deck. But like, this is just such a quite simple card. I'm not going to spend too many words on it. It's just simply good. It doesn't have a single bad line of text, and its power is absurd, and its cost is low. I'm going to run this, and it discards for any CP I want, like F1. So I'm going to run this. And probably just, it's like 9-drop Shantoto. Like, you just run it. You look at that, and you're like, okay, any other card called Shantoto, I'm not going to run that unless, like, my deck's slow enough that it needs other ones. It's the same as this. Like, you're going to run a Y'shtola and the 5-drop. If you're running a slow deck that needs protection, you'll run that. They're both just generically absurd cards.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I've gone A with this one actually as well. Because like you said, everything on it is good. So, anybody rating lower on this one? Who wants to sort of trash it a bit?
I've rated A. The one thing I do want to make people aware of is the new rule change, which came into effect last set, where they changed damage boosting. So, like Katuna, if you hit this with an 8k and then Katuna would boost to 9, that won't kill this card anymore. So just be aware, like when you're in tournaments, don't try and like hit it for like 8,000 and then boost the damage.
Peter, have you gone high for this one? You've got A or S left. So
No, I had to reserve an ice card. I had to give an ice card S. So Y'shtola is an A. It's an amazing card. You can't really talk much about it, similar to what Michael said, because it does what it says in the tin. It's got inbuilt protection. You could do some fun things with it. I guess you could do like Graviton, and you could start Hecaton and Titans and your Jimbos and things like that. Maybe you could, and obviously you can. Is it 4 or less? It can't be blocked.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool.
4 or
I think
more.
it deserves to be A. 4 or more. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. I just think it deserved to be better than sort of some of my other ones. I just thought it was really strong.
Yeah, quite a lot of people like this one in the chat as well. S's. Only bad thing is her name, like with any Y'shtola. Yeah, that's fair enough.
The 2-drop Y'shtola backup, that is a really, really broken backup, but it's plagued by the fact that it's like the starter one, but it's plagued by the fact it's called Ishtola. I don't think this one quite has the same issue because he's playing different decks than the other Ishtola does, but still.
Yeah, I don't want to call him out, but Aslan is watching. He's on the chat, so we put it on Twitter as well because most of the Team Calamity chat thinks this is good, and we do have one guy who doesn't think it's good, and he's desperate to be right. He doesn't like it, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, maybe it won't. I think he's thinking because you can straight break it, and he doesn't think traditionally forwards where they sort of thrive on the fighty part do well in the game. He thinks the game is more around sort of entry abilities and being able to remove stuff, etc. That's where he's coming from. But
nice calling me out, haha.
Yeah, that's right. You knew it was coming. He said he did say, "Can't wait to break this. Can't wait to kill this. Can't wait to kill this." So
it's easy to kill, but it's not at the same time. Like you can 9-drop Shantoto this, or you can like just straight kill this, but it's going to be an issue. It's going to get a damage in. Like I think guaranteed.
That's the thing. It's killing it before it does that damage. Yeah. That's the problem.
It's not going to happen. You're just going to take, which is fine. You're quite happy to take damage. Like you'll go to damage 6 if it means you win the game. But like paying 3 CP for a damage is really good.
Yeah. So sorry, Aslan. I'm not meaning to call you out, but we haven't had much controversy today, so need some spice on the podcast.
I mean, I can have a couple more drinks if you really want.
No, we're nearly done. We're on the last one. This is good. So maybe this is the controversial one. So Lock is last. We've got 3 S slots left, and one person has a B slot according to this. So maybe there's some. So Mitch, you're the guy with the B, so maybe you start with the B, and then we can tell you whilst you're wrong.
How the hell is this a B?
We're gonna beat you up
because first of all, this is the card that I said was interchangeable with Self whatever it's however you pronounce that card.
Yeah.
So it could be an A, and it probably should have been an A. I was panicked when that card came first, so I couldn't make up my mind which one. But I think this is a great card. But I think the deck that is going to go in, it's made for wind ice. I'm not sure the wind ice is going to be very good, and that's why I put it as a A/3.
That's an interesting take. No, I like that take. That's interesting.
So B because we don't think wind ice good. Peter, you need to chime in on Lock because you are Mr. Ice. Tell us why Lock is your S tier pick.
I'm not as good a speaker as Mitchell and Mike. I mean, Mike speaks very eloquently about many cards today. I don't know. I love this card. This is S tier all day long. This is the first deck I'm going to be making. Is trying to fit this in, try and make it work. I disagree. I think there's so many cards that Ice and Wind have to. There's so many cards. Miyun. Gives you value. There's new cards like Baralai. It fits. There's Barthandalus. There's so many cards in there that come into play, and I love it so much. If people are going to start playing this Turbo X-Def that is going around, I don't think it's actually going to be a thing. I'm going to be playing this card, and I'm going to be killing your X-Def and discarding one, and if I can go second or draw some extra cards while doing it as well, like I'm going to be playing some backups and reducing the cost of it as well, so you're going to be even further behind. So if I can make this a 2 or a 4 CP card, I'm laughing, because I used to play Orphan for 6 CP and sit there and win the game, a few opuses ago, and I think now if you play this for 2 or 4, I think this is just such a sexy finisher. I love it.
Yeah, no, I think you've summed it up very nicely. Is it a problem? It's not even a problem that it's called Lock because it goes with the other Lock.
He's playing an entirely different deck, yeah. Like Lock, he's playing some Ice Earth lists, like really, really specific ones, and Ice Fire, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, things that you can select 2 or 4 are always good, and all of the things you can select are good as well.
They're all broken.
Like choose one Monster Break, that is so underrated. Monster Break.
Okay, it's good in really specific situations. Okay, like breaking into Ganache is really good for Ice and Wind actually as well, because it means that 6-drop Shantoto decks that are going to cause a bigger issue, and like you'd think of are like now weaker against it.
But yeah, I just think it's got too much on it, and it's all good. And even though I'm not that excited about it, I don't think I'll be playing it that much. Probably for a while anyway. But it just, I don't want to make lock S's because the old lock's a bit boring.
Yeah.
But
Ice Wind's quite special to me, and it's just for instance, like Tushendav, Graham Pentalo, and Jenny Riddle. We've been building Ice Wind for many opuses now, and it's never been good enough because it's never just had. It's always had combo ability, like it's got like really broken stuff like Mione said Rains and like Renoa put in wind card with broken entry ability. But it's just never had enough. Like it's not had like a big stupid combo that makes it just better than everything. And a 2-drop discard 1 freeze, dull freeze to their backups is I think is definitely worth that. And as Pete said, Battle Eye and stuff. Battle Eye is really, really good. I was probably going to put that as if it was a legend, this would be up here as like ARS tier is. So it's yeah, this probably pushes Icewind to the point of if it's not tier 1, it may be like tier 2, tier 3 at the lowest. So it's going to be worth playing at like locals and stuff at the very, very, very least.
Yeah, the chat's saying a lot of STS tier. Ash and Lock are low key nutty.
Yes, they are. They're broken.
6-drop's not that uncommon anymore. I think it's one at the break. Complain any ice deck. Someone asked how would you summon these with the crystals? So yeah, you need to pay at least 1 ice and at least 1 wind.
6-drops are really popular. This kills BFA for like 1 CP because it can reduce itself down to 1 CP, can't it? Eventually, like that's the cap. It can't become 0, but
yeah, it can't become 0.
No, it can't become 1 or less. Never mind.
It down.
So yeah, it's 2 CP. It can become 2 CP, kill BFA till for these 2 of their backups. Yeah, you've lost a forward, but they've lost a 7 cost 1, and they're gonna like lose next turn.
And you don't really want to kill this card, to be honest, because then it just means it sets up for the second one.
Yeah.
But then you also need to kill it because they're going to Renoa it, and you're like, oh
exactly.
wow, it's the catch-22 of what are they going to draw.
Yeah.
So it's really, really good. You want it to die, you want it to stay, you want it to enter with it. It's great.
So yes, actually,
it should have been an A.
Should have been an A. You've messed up.
Yeah.
Let's pull up the sheet once we sort of finish up. That is all the legends review. Can you see that? I've messed it up. I don't think there's anything that controversial in there. The chat did not like Gilgamesh being in C. I will say that. That's annoyed a lot of people.
I think the only reason it's in C is because there was quite a lot of good legends.
Yeah. And again, we are only allowed to put
we
2.
can only put them in the brackets, yeah, so it's a bit harder. So yeah, the last thing we said...
it was never going to be an A, Gilgamesh.
No.
But no, we talked about wildcards as well, so you can have 1 non-legend pick. So like a non-legend pick, what's piquing your interest? We had a couple of comments and stuff on some posts we put out. There's a bit of love for Galoof. It's popular. People calling out Dragoons. I know Chocobos has been talked about a lot because of the Boko Barts. And yeah, Dragoon with the Sid Previa, and obviously we just found out that there was that errata, so that's hurt everyone a little bit. So you can't search the Dragoon backup. But yeah, what would be your wild card picks? What things are you excited for outside of the legends?
Who's that aimed at?
Mitch.
You all said Lani earlier.
You want to go, Mitch?
Go on.
Yeah, we all said Lani, so we can't actually pick that one because we'd all just end up talking about it. There's a card that I like. I'm not sure it's my sort of deck, but I know someone who used to be on this. Rich will love this card. It's the 5 CP Nuct. I think this is better than the legend and should have been the legend from the beginning. It's so good. It's so good. Like when any Warrior Darkness is chosen, you can get a Warrior Darkness back. So you can get Diana back, and then when Nuct's broken, you can play 1 Warrior Darkness from your hand to the field. So you can play the Diana to get the Nuct back and just keep cycling them. I think it's so strong. You have to remove them. And it's, as I said, it's just the fact that it can just sit there and just protect all of your cards. I know there's always Kadaj, but as we said before, that ruins any deck.
I'm going to put this card on the screen, which is the Shikari Sin Hunters. That came up a few times.
No.
That's just I
Is
didn't
that
really
your
read
pick,
them.
Tom?
No, not at all. But I didn't really read them till today. And if you
They're
get all three of
crazy.
them in, you deal
They're
3
absolutely
points of damage
crazy.
and a 27k
Yeah.
party.
This will be a deck. You're not safe from 4 damage anymore. You are not safe. Run.
So, yeah, I just sort of skimmed over it and I was like, oh, it's just when you see that kind of artwork, which is just the FF11's like screen grabs, always like, I just thought, oh, okay, it's just a sort of filler card. And then I actually read it, like, bloody hell, like, what the hell is that? It's just, yeah, that's bonkers.
You can even see on the post one of the commenters.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, that's mental. I quite like Ice has got a lot of stuff. I think it's had a bit of a buff. Let's pick up some of the Ice cards.
I mean, I was going to pick an ice card, but I mean, that feels a bit bad, doesn't it? Like
I quite like the
ice
one
cards
that recycle stuff in main phase 2 or based on your backups. I think that's quite cool.
Well, you can play from hand.
I put Ifrit up on the screen. I was quite like, I love Ifrit, but then I saw this, I thought it was free CP for like a while, and then I just realised it's 5. It's like, oh, that's terrible. Fire sort of regressed a bit, hasn't it? Went a bit too bonkers. Bahamut was getting a lot of love as well. There's Talani. Yeah, everyone's going mad for Lani. Lani is a terrible card for our current situation because I'm not sure Octagon and I think Untap can handle it. When you're playing virtually, Lani is a nightmare.
I believe Octagon's getting some updates, and it's got Opus 12 functionality considered, like this kind of stuff. So I think there's an update coming soon for that.
That as well. Anything from the chat for wild cards? What people excited about?
What's your wild card, Michael?
2 win cards for wild card. I was going to say Bad Ally, but I think that's been talked to death anyway.
Yeah.
All I'm just going to say is Guido bad, Val for good. But
yeah, do we think this Guido Barrel is going to come up? I'm not convinced.
It's going to come up. People are going to play
it. People will make it, won't they?
People will
make
it.
They're going to put Guido down, and I'm going to smile at them, 7-0 them. It'd be great.
Big words.
No, it's nice to hear actually, because Michael, you play quite competitively though, don't you? So is the value there? Like, it's not going to activate, is it? So it's just.
I know some really good players who've said it's good, so I'm not going to say it's. I'm being toxic for fun here. Like it's probably better than I think it is, but then also like it's a backup that you don't even need to. Like, you can kill Bad Ally, or you just kill their water backup they were going to use to pay CP for the Guido whiff, and then they start having to rely on when they activate stuff to do it. And I'm like, well, wouldn't you just use the stuff that activates anyway, so you're not stuck on like 4 backups because it doesn't activate? It's not that great. But yeah, so Bad Ally's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about Necron, because I have a small obsession with like alternate win conditions. Like the YYT know me as the mill boy because I just like not having to deal 7 damage like the proper way. So I like just going into I like the idea of Necron where you like go into starter when it ends attacks or ends attack phase, whatever. It just deals a point of damage because you've got a Kadaj, a Chaos, and a Calamity or Spiritus or whatever. So I like that because it puts your opponent in a timer. It's really, really interesting, and it works well with Kadaj because it works the way you want to because both end of turn and you just stack it the way you'd like it.
Yeah, chat's pinging up Galoof, Noctis, Warrior of Light. Amaterasu is cool. Yeah, actually I did see someone talk about Amaterasu as potentially like reshaping how you think about building decks if it sees a lot of play. Obviously autos are rife in the game, so if Amaterasu starts seeing a lot of consistent play, you may have to rethink about how you play your cards and stuff, which is interesting.
The thing is, look, 3-drop Carbuncle never really saw much play, and I think this is going to see play. I think it's worthwhile. I think that but it's important to look at this kind of like how you look at 3-drop Carbuncle, where yes, someone's like even back then someone's ripe in the meta, and I know you said summons are coming back. I would agree with that. And they're everywhere. You're not going to ever run that 3-drop Carbuncle, and I think that Amaterasu you definitely are, because killing a forward is really, really absurd. But it's very, very timed. Like it's a very, very specific timing where you have 3 CP open. They even have odd CP open during your opponent's turn. Like you're going to lose a card in hand at least, and this doesn't generate board presence. You're losing 2 cards in hand more often than not.
It's good against the turn 1 X death, so I'm alright with that. You play a backup, do your ping, they X death activates, you just cancel it and kill it, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, Shadow Lord loves Golbez. Actually, Golbez has got, it always gets, every time there's a 2 CP card, everyone talks about Golbez, but it has got some good targets this set for Golbez. And like what X Def comes in and then you play your Golbez, it's like, yeah, thank you. Well, that's not bad. Andy says new
bad.
Alpha Nord is nuts, especially with 4 cost that brings in something on 5k damage. What I've liked about this question when we put it out and talked about it is everyone is saying different things. So everyone's got something next, which is always really good for a set because it shows there's lots of stuff and everyone's got something they like, which is very cool. So I think we'll wrap it up now because we said we'd go till 10. We've got a bit later. I'm getting looks from my wife in the living room. The old watch, the watch tap. But yeah, thanks very much for people who've joined us live. That's been fun. Actually, maybe we should do this. We could do it more regularly as a live thing. That's been quite cool. So yeah, thanks for joining us live. If you're listening back, on after the stream or on the podcast, thank you very much for listening too. We are hoping to do lots more content now for Opus 12, so be sure to follow the Team Calamity YouTube page, like, subscribe, etc. YYT are also very busy. I see you've dropped all your set releases now, so they're not lazy like us. They go for the whole set, so they are live now. So do go check out Uni Young Team on YouTube for all of their content as well. And yeah, thanks very much. So we will see you soon. Enjoy Opus 12. When's it drop? Friday. I think some people are starting to get their kits now. Sneaky thing, one of our guys got his kits early. They came through the post today, and his packs were nuts. They had 2 packs, and he got what did he get? 2 10s in full arts in one.
Yeah,
and
2
then
10s.
His wife's box got 2 Y'shtola and the lock as well. So
it's crazy. He
not
went to Calamity and got a full art Tifa as well. That's his middle name now, full art.
full art
goes with his last name as well, actually. So yeah, it's definitely his middle name now.
So yeah, it looks like the packs are stacked. So let's hype it. And I'm sorry if you're the guy who gets the no legends. It's usually me. So I'll try and take it for you, but enjoy.
I can count how many legends I've gotten from pre-releases on my hand. It's that bad.
It's 6.
He's done 6 pre-releases as well. But yeah, thanks very much. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Bye.